What a crazy start to my time at Bergendal. Unbelievable how the bush can just serve you up something like that when you least expect it. The Dal Rest Camp is located in the southwestern corner of the Kruger National Park in an area known for its great game viewing, and the action started before I had even arrived at the camp. Just as I was starting to think that it was getting too hot to see anything, 2 female lions and 6 cubs drinking at James's pan. After they had a drink, the female lions came closer to the road and the 6 cubs followed. I was able to get some really nice views of them up close. Lion cubs are very affectionate animals. So I've arrived at Bergendal and I've set up the campsite, and while I was checking in at the reception I noticed a herd of elephant which were in the dry riverbed along the fence line. There were also some trumpeter hornbills in the tree above them. And while I've been in the camp now, there was a mixed flock of birds, some black-collared barbets, bulbuls, starlings, and also a few tree squirrels that were alarm calling. I thought they may have seen a snake, but when I looked around I couldn't see one. And there's actually a young bushbuck that's just come past the campsite now. That afternoon I headed east along the S110 and then north up towards the Afzal picnic site. I didn't get far into the drive because there was a special sighting waiting for me just north of Malalan Gate. This male leopard sat next to the road for quite a while, occasionally getting up to move around, but overall he was lazy. It was a great sighting. He's also featured in one of my older videos and is a well-known leopard in the Malalaan and Bergendal area. And unbelievably, the day's sightings weren't over yet. About 50 meters from the Bergendal entrance gate, this young male leopard was lying in a drainage line, greeting everyone on their way back to the camp. It was a really special first day at Bergendal. Before calling it a day, that evening I had visits from an eastern olive toad and a large spotted genet. The next morning I decided to do the roads around Gardenia Hide. Sightings are usually productive close to the Mlombane River. What a crazy start to my time at Bergendal. There are definitely a lot of leopards around here. I've just seen 4 in the first 12 hours of being at Bergendal. 2 yesterday afternoon and another 2 this morning. Still very dark when I saw them, and I wasn't able to get any footage of its mom. I'm going to carry on now. I've just turned onto the S118. So I won't say which road I decided to drive after doing the S118 and the S119. But at the moment I'm parked here looking at a black rhino. This is definitely a rare sighting and the first one I've seen in the park in about 5 years. It's the first time I've been able to film one, and it looks like it wants to come closer to the road. They are very shy animals, so I won't be surprised if this is the best view I get of them. This is a rare and incredibly special sighting of one of the most critically endangered species on Earth. They're smaller than the white rhino and much more alert, often moving with their heads held high, always aware of their surroundings. With so few left in the wild, moments like this are truly unforgettable.
It was so interesting to watch this white rhino and her calf spook off an entire herd of elephants from the waterhole. Once the elephants had moved away, the pair casually moved in to have a drink. And it just shows you what sort of respect these guys have from other animals out there in the bushveld.
I had a really good drive this morning. Started off really nicely with those two leopard next to the road. Even though the lighting wasn't good and I didn't manage to film the mother, still nice to film the cub. I'll have to brighten up the footage, and that black rhino later on. And I've just been chilling in the campsite for the last few hours. I put the camera on the tripod here, and an African paradise flycatcher came past. And not too long ago, a grey-headed bushrack pair also came past, and one managed to catch a scorpion and was trying its best to remove the tail before it ate the scorpion. So really special, difficult birds to film. They're obviously quite used to the people here in the campsite.
This video was made possible by making use of the MotionMount to stabilize my camera and lens when filming from inside of the vehicle. If you're interested in this product, visit the website and order yours today. For the afternoon drive, I decided to head to the S114, and I got as far as the Imlabaan River crossing.
The weather has just turned overcast and the temperatures have started to cool down nicely, so hopefully a few animals start getting active.
I was lucky enough to see this pride of lion, but they weren't going to move anytime soon.
So while I was sitting and watching those lion in the Imlabaan River, you could hear that a storm might be brewing. And now heading back to Bergendal, this is looking like a night that you might not want to spend inside of a tent. I've just arrived at Bergendal gate now, and I'm the first car here at the gate. And this is the first time it's happened the whole trip, so that really is something. And I'm going to do the same route that I did yesterday morning, from here to the Malalaan gate along the tar road, the S110, and then up to the S118 and the 119. And the weather looks nice and clear this morning, so probably another warm day. Hopefully the animals are active after the weather yesterday and the rain yesterday evening. It's impossible for me to not stop and have a look at these guys when they're out in the open calling like this. busy watching a group of dwarf mongoose, and they're moving in and out of the termite mound that they've excavated a tunnel system into. And this is where you'll typically see them. And they're really inquisitive. A few of them are looking over in my direction, making sure I'm not a threat. There's one on top of the termite mound. Definitely the lookout for the group. Cute little guys.
And not far from the family of dwarf mongoose was a small pack of African wild dogs, which were being followed closely by a spotted hyena. I was surprised at how close these two species got without any kind of confrontation.
Yeah, it was a quiet morning drive this morning until about 8:30 when I had that wild dog sighting on the H22 further north from where I had planned to drive around this morning. But other than that, a quiet morning, and it's really hot today. Sort of expected it with the clear skies while I was waiting at the gate this morning. But at the moment I'm doing the Rhino trail, which runs along the perimeter of the Berg and Dal Rest Camp. And it's definitely one of my favorite parts about this camp. In the past, about 2 years ago when I was here with Shelly, we saw a hyena from the fence feeding on a male kudu. I don't think the hyena had caught that kudu. Must have been another predator. And I could be wrong, but from what I understand, Bergendal is one of the only camps that still operates their outdoor cinema, which is mainly used by kids during the school holidays. I can remember sitting and watching those films. And I could be wrong, but I'm sure I recognize some of those titles.
And a real highlight was seeing this freckled nightjar and its tiny chick tucked up against it.
It's just gone 4 o'clock now, and I've left Dal Rest Camp for an afternoon game drive, and I'm parked here looking at a hippo in a small body of water next to the road. And I've noticed the 3 red-billed oxpeckers on it. And although these oxpeckers are usually seen as beneficial to big mammals for removing ticks and all sorts of parasites, these guys can sometimes have negative effects on the mammal by keeping the wound open and not letting it heal. So it's the end of my third afternoon here in the Bergendal area, and I've spent all 3 afternoons waiting for big cats to get up and get active. Luckily this afternoon it all paid off, and what a way to end off the afternoon. I don't think it gets any better than that.
A Corey bastard, then misses the...
Morning guys, it's just gone 10 past 4 and I'm the first car at the gate this morning, which means it's the second morning in a row that's happened. Really doesn't happen often. And I'm gonna head towards the S118, an area around Gardenia Hyde. Just had so much luck there in the previous days that I'm gonna stick to it and hopefully come right again. Now I'm on the S119. I did the S25 along the Crocodile River here and only really saw a honey badger and didn't get the best view of it. But it's a nice day. I'm hoping that the sightings warm up. I'm sure they will. Just like yesterday, had a slow morning and then got to see those wild dog. So I've gone a bit further north than I was planning to this morning. I'm around the BMET Weir now, and I'm parked next to a sycamore fig tree with 2 African hawk eagles in it, an adult bird and a juvenile, which doesn't have fully developed plumage yet. And it's been a quiet morning. The lion, which were on the S119 yesterday afternoon, weren't around, and neither were the wild dog on the H22.
This female leopard was doing her best to escape the midday heat, resting in the shade of a tree. She lay there for over an hour, shifting from branch to stay cool. but then a herd of impala caught her attention and she couldn't resist going after them. She was unsuccessful and eventually moved off.
That leopard sighting was really something else. Had been looking for a leopard around that area for the last few days. Unbelievable how the bush can just serve you up something like that when you least expect it. I'm just going to do a short drive around back in Dal Rest Camp this morning and not go too far, and come back to the camp around 10, 11 o'clock to pack up. I just stepped outside of the car now, and the sound of the birds calling, it's almost deafening. It is so loud. You can probably hear it if I open the door. It's got a lot of volume this morning.
This is the nest of the hammerkop bird, and it's a massive dome-shaped structure made from hundreds of sticks, and it can weigh over 50 kilograms and support the weight of a fully grown adult. Those lion were actually drinking at the gardenia bird hide, and there were people in the car park that hadn't seen them, and I had to say, hey, they're lion drinking here, and everyone hopped in their cars and followed them along the road. Crazy sighting. That's the same pride that I've been seeing in this area for the last few days.
I'm back at Bergendal now, and those wild dog were really the best possible way to sign off the trip. That scene of them moving in front of the elephants at the Waterhole, really something special. I won't be forgetting that anytime soon. And I'm going to end the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for coming along.